Welcome to the ThunderCast, your martial athletics podcast produced by the fans, for the fans. We're bringing you the thundering word on the thundering herd each and every week. So keep it right here. The ThunderCast is on the loose. Ooh, man. Theme's getting me going now, man. I'm digging it. Yeah. I'm already into it. So thanks for downloading another episode of the ThunderCast. You can follow us on Twitter at ThunderCast_pod. If you have found the show via video format, you already know about the ThunderCast YouTube channel. But while you're there, take a second, click subscribe, share the link. Let's grow this listener base. And of course, if you like listening in the car to and from your commute to work, hey, you can find us on any major podcasting platform. It is Wednesday. That means it's time for some things, and it's time to go around the herd, and it's KD and it's Jed, and we're back for another week. I settled back in, man, the vacation is over, right? And I'm back to the grind this week, but it's really good to get behind the mic with you and talk some herd, even after a really awesome trip. Had to set last week out because still on vacation, Holmes. So we're back in the swing full time. Great trip to Huntington. A lot of fun. I hate that I didn't get to meet up with you and spend a little time. You would have had a blast because we all had a blast. But hey, it's great to see you right now.
Yeah, man. Great to be back in the saddle here with you. Yeah, I had some personal things that we discussed off camera here. So I was unfortunately unable to make it and then missed you there. But man, from what I saw, videos and the ThunderCast lives and all of those things, man, it looked like such a fun weekend. I mean, I would say that your cup was full, right?
It was very full, yes. Russ and I were busy bees. I had my trip to Huntington. I had one day off, and then it was the secondary vacation with the family, which when I finally got done with everything, it was, man, I needed a vacation from my vacation before I got back to work. I'm going to be honest with you. Monday, when the alarm went off at 4:30 in the morning, I was questioning my life's decisions. It's like, what am I doing, man? Yeah. It was a rough first day of work, but hey, we're back full swing now. It's Wednesday. It's all good. It's like it never happened, you know? So we got a lot to talk. This has been a very, very, very busy week. Yeah. I did not see this one coming. There's a lot out there for herd fans to get excited about, a lot of program marks being set across the athletic department in multiple sports. There's some news about portal stuff that everybody loves. So before we get into all of that, you know how it goes, Jed. We have to get a word from our sponsors at Leasure Oliver PLLC.
If you've been hurt in a wreck, call the law firm of Leasure Oliver PLLC. Find them at 304carwreck.com.
Now, there is nothing more that I would rather do with you right now than to talk about some things. And this week, it is not a true 5 things. It is not a massive 50 things like we've had in the past. It is 7 things that every herd fan needs to know this week, brought to you by ignite.link.
And now, here are at least 5 things every herd fan needs to know this week. As always, brought to you by ignite.link, the Tri-State's premier IT management team.
Jed, let's kick off this week's things with our WNIT champion women's basketball team and head coach Julie Folks keeping with the momentum in the portal as they pick up another commitment out of the transfer portal. Maddie Moody, a 6'1" rising sophomore forward from NKU, averaged 10 points and 6.5 boards last season, 29 starts across, I think it was 31 total games as a freshman. She was named to the Horizon League all-freshman team. Julie Folks is trying to reload this roster. I think we all know by now the expectations that she has for herself and her teams are pretty damn high. So Maddie Moody is the next in line, potentially to be the next great guard in Huntington.
Yeah, absolutely, man. We talked about this in the last week. I think Russ and I did, as we've talked about some of these portal, obviously it's the time of year now we're getting some portal entries, and we'll continue to discuss that later in the episode. But we talked about, we're losing a lot of production from that awesome women's basketball team. And we talked about when you bring somebody in from a different league or from a league that's considered maybe a lesser league or a lower tiered conference, but if you can ball, you can ball. And if you're, up there being, what was it? She was freshman. What was she added to? Like, there was some accolade that she got, and I had it in front of me. But you're scoring, you're starting games, you're an instant impact player as a freshman, and you're competing at a very, very high level in your conference, regardless of what conference you're in. You're a baller. And so I think this is a good add to the team. Julie Folks is wasting no time getting productive players here right now. So I think this is a good get.
I don't think anymore that I buy into that trope about a lesser league and that kind of thing, because the portal's been around long enough now that there's just diamonds that get discovered everywhere.
Mm-hmm.
And it happened right here. Think about when
Oh, yeah.
Kim Caldwell took the job and she brought in Abby Beeman, who was a D2 player. And everybody was like, And then Abby lit the SBC on fire for 2 years. It was like, she became an all-time great. She will be a Herd Hall of Famer, in my opinion. Abby Beeman will be a Herd Hall of Famer one day. But there have been players that have come from lower divisions or even lower leagues, if that's what you want to call it, and then played here, performed here, and then moved on again to a power league, so I just don't buy that. And you're right. If you can play, you can play. I trust Julie Folks to find the talent and the players that fit into her system and her style that she wants to operate. And who the hell am I to question it? Because it works. First year was a complete transition year for her. And now this second year was bolstering the roster and getting her system fully in place. Who am I to question that? We saw the results play out. She gets players that can win basketball games in Huntington.
Yeah, absolutely. And what we're looking forward to is her being able to this coming year, winning in that conference, that Sun Belt Conference tournament, and get back to the dance. I think that's the goal for her, is winning championships.
Yeah, and I agree with that. I totally agree with that. And as awesome as a WNIT championship is, I want to see a Sun Belt championship. And I know that's conference versus postseason tournament, but I want to see that. And I know she wants to see that. I know all those players want to have that. They want to hoist an SBC trophy, because you win the SBC tournament, that means you're going dancing. That's what that means, right? So let's keep on with the transfer portal theme with number 2. And it's a big one, because it's a 3-headed monster of a thing, and it's all around men's basketball. They get 3 commitments this week. A couple of them, I think, from the portal, but the third is, I believe, is a traditional like high school type athlete. So basketball gets commitments from 6'9", 2026 forward Keenan Galeo from King Heights Academy in Toronto. I believe that is the class of 2027 prospect. Guard Fazal Ashodi, a 6'3", 183-pound junior from Southern, and a 6'4", 176-pound guard, DeMarco Johnson, who just committed earlier today, a sophomore from Elon. Galeo averaged 21 and 10 last season. Ashodi averaged 8.9 and a turnover margin. Average turning the ball over just half a time, 0.5 times per game, while shooting nearly 35% from 3, and an eye-popping, something the Herd has needed forever, a 93.5% free throw shooting percentage. Holy moly. Johnson averaged 3 points and 2.3 rebounds, 2.4 assists coming off the bench last year in Elon. So trio of players find their way to this rebuilding Herd men's basketball program. I think that's 4 or 5 commitments in the past week and a half or 2 weeks. Some of those guys have already been signed, sealed, and delivered. So some of those are official. And of course, we expect more.
Yeah, absolutely. We've talked about this in previous episodes. I mean, we're returning almost nobody now, either, exhausting eligibility or portaling out. And so, Coach Jackson, year 3 is, instead of, building upon his previous 2 years of success and growth, is now having to go out and build an entire team from scratch. And so we've had this conversation. I'm not going to derail this too far, but we've had this conversation, or I've had this conversation personally with some of the guys here in the office and some other people, just, because generally year 3 with a coach is when they've had an opportunity to kind of build their base, bring in their recruits, and go after it. And now he's doing it from scratch. And that just makes it tough. But Coach Jackson has proved he's brought in some really good talent. I think he was definitely he was obviously responsible for some of the recruits brought in even under Dan Toney's tenure when he was an assistant coach. So I think he's got a really good eye for talent, a really good eye for those diamonds in the rough. Guys that he can bring in and develop, and that's what I kind of see with these guys here potentially is you got guys that diamonds in the rough. They're doing some really good things, and if you can build on that. Could really fit into his system here. So, cautiously optimistic here, but he's working fast, and I think he's bringing in some good players here.
Yeah, and aside from this, one other note on this portal cycle for the Herd. We talked about Herd player Noah Atshuti entering the transfer portal, and some people were surprised by that, and it was surprising. But I think what folks need to know that they may not know is there's a legitimate reason behind that. And he has to be granted a waiver to play another year. So you don't get the waiver, you're not playing, right? So you enter the transfer portal knowing you need to get a waiver. That does something very important for the Herd, which is free up a roster spot for Corny to go get somebody that he knows is able to play. Now, the other side of that is if you get the waiver, you get to play, and you're potentially going to be somewhere else. So I understand why. So I hope fans that were kind of angry at that decision understand now why. It's not a guarantee that he will be able to play next year. And by doing so and entering the portal, he has now freed up a roster spot for Corny to go recruit, and fill the roster out completely instead of be left in kind of holding the bag, so to speak. If you're counting on him to return, he doesn't get the waiver, and now you're down somebody. And what do you do at that point? Somebody you may have wanted, you missed out on, and you just don't have anybody else right now that you're as high on. So I get it. I mean, it always is going to suck when guys hit the portal, but this one at least has legitimate reasons that could benefit Marshall behind it. Also, your number 3 thing, keeping with basketball, assistant coach Rob Fulford has departed the Marshall program and accepted an assistant coaching job at the College of Charleston. So pretty good bump there for Fulford. Some folks might think, really, College of Charleston? Well, that's a big basketball school, and it's undoubtedly a bigger basketball opportunity, which probably comes along with a bigger basketball paycheck to go along with it. So we wish Rob the best of luck. He was in Huntington for a long time. He was the first to ever coach at Huntington Prep, if you didn't know that. So he's been around Huntington for a long, long time and made his way back to Corny Jackson's staff and now departed once again. But best of luck all the same. Anything on that one?
Yeah, just best of luck. And also it sucks in this day and age, but if anyone's going to leave from an assistant coach or coaching standpoint, this is the way to do it, right? It's they've performed at such a high level that they're getting recruited for a better opportunity or a better program, higher paycheck, which means he's done a lot of good things. And so we'd rather see that kind of. We don't want to see any movement, with a coach who's doing a really good job for us. But if you do see that movement, I mean, you see that when your program is doing well, higher programs, higher level programs, or power programs, or what have you, are going to try to come in and take that. So that's the little positive I'll take away from that.
Well, look, I would rather our coaches depart because they're doing a great job than depart because they got shit canned because they're not doing anything good.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So it sucks to have them go, but hey, I'm glad that it's for a positive reason and not because it's not a performance related reason. Number 4, a couple of track and field squads are getting some national pub this week as the men's triple jump, shocker, is ranked ranked fifth, while the men's high jump squad is ranked 10th in all of Division I. So 2 top 10 programs for Herd men's track. Trayshawn Smith and O.T. Mott are on both squads. Somehow we always continue to find a way to talk about high jump and triple jump. And, well, when you got 2 top 10 squads in the country, cause for reason to talk about them.
Yeah, it'll tend to do that, and I think I've mentioned this in the past, and you guys, you and Russ as well as, these are going to be guys during this season that are going to be constantly in the 5 things, constantly being talked about because they're performing at a high level. I mean, nationally ranked stuff is something to talk about, right? But I'll just beat the same dead horse of this program being something that's been on the rise. These are great athletes, and that's all I gotta say, man. This is just a more kind of another notch. These guys doing what they do best and performing at a high level. And
well, so it's something else. It's something else. It's consistency. That's what that says to me. Mm-hmm. Consistently great, because it's not a flash in the pan. We had a great meet for a couple of weeks. We put together a good streak of meets and broke each other's records and had a good time. And no, it's this consistent performance on a national level. And when you're a school like Marshall, take that however you want. But when you're a school like Marshall, that shit matters, because you're going up against programs in the country that have seemingly endless supplies of resources. Mm-hmm. And when you can compete against that, outperform that means something. That means that you are doing something freaking right. And the consistency is the message that I pull from that. That is something that I really, really like. Like, it's great to set this record and you do it once and it was super cool, but it's been all year. Yeah. And even Trayshawn was a little in the winter or in the spring or the fall. So it's the consistency is the message I get from that. Let's go number 5, softball. It's time to talk a little softball. Ranked 4th in both D1 softball and Softball America's mid-major top 25 polls. Man, the softball had a up and down week, and that's not something we usually say about softball. So knocked them down a couple of spots in one of the polls. They were sitting there at number 2, but still top 4 in both D1 softball and Softball America's mid-major top 25 polls. Zerk and the Herd are just crushing it this year. Look out. They got a couple more series left, and then we're going to talk about SBC champion or SBC tournament coming up. So they got to be the favorite. They got to be right now. I mean, unless they go down and just completely crap the bed in Louisiana and completely let James Madison have their way with them, you got to think the Herd is the favorite in the SBC right now.
Yeah, I totally agree. This is a team, one of the best softball teams, at least in the last decade or so. Very much, very on par, if not greater than the team from a few years ago. Mm-hmm. Especially with the harder RPI, tougher games and things like that. So this is a really good team, and of course you're going to have some up and downs. I mean, I would love to see us have a win streak throughout the end of the season, through the Sun Belt Conference tournament, into an NCAA tournament. But they've been consistent. They're still playing at a very high level. The rankings show that. They've dropped a few, but it's only been a few. We're going to talk a little bit more around the Herd about this last weekend. Playing teams that are in the upper echelon of the conference, and we're still winning series and still performing. So this is a team that deserves to be in that high ranking. And I'm with you. I think this is a team that's going to be the favorites. I mean, we've just been dominated. I mean, why wouldn't we be the favorites?
I don't know. I can't find a good reason why that wouldn't happen. They pitch well. They crush the softball. They play good defense. They run bases. I mean, they do everything really well. I can't find one weakness really, one consistent weakness, because everybody has a bad game. They dropped one at home for the first time all year this past weekend. So they had a bad game at home. But softball is, absolutely crushing it, and that slides right into the number 6 thing this week. Speaking of crushing the softball, they broke the single-season Marshall record for team home runs this past Sunday as Ava Blake hit the team's 80th home run this season. Sid Burko has since added to it this past Tuesday. And they have 6 regular season games to go and the postseason to add to that. Burko's moved into a tie for 5th all-time with her 18th home run on Tuesday, ties her with Herd Hall of Famer and all-time great Herd softball player Rachel Folden. She's actually a hitting coach in the Cubs organization and has been for a while. But with 6 games plus the SBC tournament plus potentially any postseason after that, these records could fall. I was looking it up. It got me thinking, like, if 18 is 5th all-time, well, what's the most all-time? Well, Jed, do you know the most all-time?
I do not know the most all-time.
It's
but I
only
think
20. It's only 20. So they're right there. Yeah. So that was set in 2019 by Herd great Maya Stevenson and tied in 2022 by another Herd great, Sage Pye. So Burko's setting at 18 with 6 games plus a tourney to go. That gives her a way great shot of breaking that single season record. And by the way, Ava Blake, the aforementioned Ava Blake, setting with 16. So you could see 2 Herd players potentially move that all-time record down to tied for 3rd, if
in one
Ava,
season, or 2 players in one season.
Right. So if Ava pushes 3 more over the fence, you're talking at a brand new number 2. If Burko pushes 2 or more over the fence, you're looking at least a tie for 1, if not a 1 solo. Man, this could be a big deal. This could be a big deal, 1 more and Burko moves up into a tie for 3rd. So you're talking about 2 home runs here. This is big time stuff. This is really cool stuff. I'm really glad I checked that out because I was thinking is it like 30 or something? 20 people.
20. That's crazy.
20. Yeah.
Well, proof's in the pudding, right? Like, it's when you see these rankings, when you see these records, about to be broken, pretty high likelihood, unless something crazy happens, that at least one of them will break that record. An opportunity to, you're probably the favorite to win the tournament, going to the NCAA tournament, potentially, hopefully for the first time in a while. I mean, the stats back it up. It's not just, flash in the pan, we're having just having a good streak. No, this is a very, very good team, with a lot more ahead of it. So that's really cool.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot in front of this team, right? And that's what people have to keep in mind is as much as they've accomplished, as many big games as they've won already this year. Now you're getting into crunch time. Louisiana, yes, they're having a down year, dominant in softball in the SBC for literally ever. Marshall was able to take the series from them last year, which ended their 89 conference series win streak. 89 straight conference series, right? That was the feather in the cap last year for Zerk. It was a good season, but it's like, hey, somebody finally took a series from Louisiana, and it was Zerk and this Herd team. And now here they are as the favorite. Well, in our minds, they're the favorite. Right, they're 15-3 in conference. They are 14-1 at home. So 3 of those 6 remaining games are at the dot. They're closing out the season, the regular season, at the dot. So you got to feel good about that. But overall, this team is 35-12. So let's say they go 6-0. They got a chance to get to 41 wins before the SBC tournament, right?
Yeah.
And this softball program has seen 1, 2, 3, 4 times in its history, they have crossed the 40-win plateau. Just 4 times in its history. The record of all-time wins was set in 2023 under head coach Megan Smith-Lyon. They went 45-10. That was a great team, an absolutely great team. So that was the one that went to the SBC championship game, lost to Louisiana 1-0. at Louisiana's home field, right? That was a true duel between pitchers, and it was one hit that made the difference in that game. That's how close the herd was. So 45, I don't know that they can get there. You're talking about having to go on a pretty big win streak. 10. I don't know if there's 10 games left for them. But they got a legitimate shot to cross 40 wins for just the 5th time in program history. Pretty awesome. Last thing on 7 things that every herd fan needs to know this week is talking about 2 goats, 2 former goats, 2 still goats. Herd former distance running greats Abby Herring and Kylie Maston ran in the Boston Marathon on Monday, finishing within 8 seconds of one another. Oh, wow. Herring placed 79th for the women, and Kylie Maston was 93rd. 2 all-time great herd alums finish in the top 100 in the Boston Marathon. And Abby Herring, to go along with that, breaks her record for being mentioned the most times on the ThunderCast. Again, even out of school as an alum, she's got the single athlete record for most mentions, most times being a thing in ThunderCast history. But that's really cool, man. 2 of them in top 100 finishing. That's world-class stuff,
Yeah, absolutely. And I figured at some point, I didn't know when or how, but I figured that she was going to somehow make it back into a 5 things or into Around the Herd somehow. I think one of these days she needs to guest host the ThunderCast on a 5 things and just kind of finish it out that way.
Do you remember? Are you old enough to remember like the David Letterman show and the top 10 list every night?
Yeah.
Okay. So from time to time, he would have guests do the top 10 list, and that's what I'm thinking of. Is like that's what popped into my head was like she just
bring her at the
just add her to the screen here, right here, and boop, out of nowhere. Number 5 is
we just need to have her. Yeah, at this rate, she's going to be an honorary guest host at some point, just as often as she's talked about on this. Dude, that's so cool, though. I mean, just to have both of them. Anytime we get a chance to talk about former athletes, or talk about our alumni and in any kind of way when they can make a thing or make a round, or just talk about them in general. I mean, now they're out in the world, doing great things, but they still rep Marshall when they can. And it's really cool to say, hey, that those folks were here. They did really cool things here, and now they're doing really cool things somewhere else.
They did a lot of great things here, man. Yeah. Those 2 athletes broke, re-broke, re-broke, and broke again, record after record after record. And, most people think you get out of school, you just quit competing. A lot of people do. Because, I mean, you're not going to, unless you're playing professional, like, you don't just go play football. You know what I mean? Like, you might play, like, rec league basketball or something like if you're just a guy, but dude, they're still running, and they're still running at an extremely high level. And I mean, I wouldn't enter the Boston Marathon for anything. I couldn't walk 26 miles, much less, race 26 miles. And 2 of our herd greats finish in the top 93. But I think the coolest thing is that it's 8 seconds apart. They are 8 seconds. That's how, that's just so cool, And I saw a picture of them. They were together at the, of course. Why wouldn't you go meet up? They talk. I mean, I'm sure they talk all the time. So it's like, we got to get this photo because, or maybe it's like, hey, well, let's do this again next year and we'll do it again. Right. Where's the next one? We going to go run the San Francisco Marathon next or whatever? Right. I don't even know if there's a marathon in San Francisco, but whatever. Well, there you go, Jed. That's 7 things that every herd fan needs to know this week. Brought to you by ignite.link. It is a very, very portal heavy things, but lots of cool stuff going on in herd athletics this week.
Yeah, man, very loaded. I'm with you. I didn't expect it to be as loaded as it was, but man, a lot of movement, a lot of things going on. But hey, every time we have these episodes, it's always like, well, I was surprised we had 5 things and we end up having like 7 or 10 or, all kinds of things to talk about. But very cool.
It's never a dull week in herd athletics.
No, never.
But what do you say we go around the herd?
Let's do it.
And now, Layer 1 Solutions, your experts in business connectivity infrastructure, takes you around the herd.
We're going to start off with and got to close the regular season with a win. Little, obviously tennis kind of hit a little bit of a few bumps in the road towards the final end of the part of the season, but got to take down Miami of Ohio. I know how Russ feels about Miami of Ohio. He was able to take down Miami of Ohio 4-1 on Friday at home on Senior Day. So great win there. Really good to take care of business at home and finish the regular season that way.
Yeah, super cool. Anytime we beat Miami in anything, I don't care what it is, I appreciate the hell out of that. And I remember that was Senior Day, and Johanna Strom got the win, the final win on Senior Day, and that to me was just so fitting. She's been so good for so long. I'm glad she was the one that played the final match to get to close out that win on Senior Day for the herd. That seemed just so very fitting.
Yeah, so just talk about her just a second. She's 11-3 this spring, and she sits top 10 in program history with 86 singles wins. So I think that's worth mentioning. I mean, and again, she's been that's a name that you should recognize if you've listened to any episode of the ThunderCast. That is a name that we have mentioned a lot of, and she's been very, very vital to this tennis program and has performed at a very, very high level. So very proud of her.
Since she was a freshman, by the way, she came in winning matches and just never stopped winning matches. She's been so good for so long. She's an all-time great, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Well, it's tournament time. Marshall gets the 10th seed. Wish we could be a little bit higher there, but they will take on 7th seeded Louisiana tomorrow, as we record. Today's Wednesday at 2:30. They do it tomorrow. The championship started today, but they'll face them tomorrow at 2:30 p.m. The championship will be Sunday if they can win each day. So they got a long stretch in front of them. Yeah,
I mean, 10th seed, you're going to have to win a lot of matches to get there, and it's a tough road to hoe. But hey, there's no time to do it like right now. I said that about the WNIT. I said, wouldn't it be a great time to go on a 4 or 5 game win streak? And damn it, we did it.
We did really well at the beginning of the season and had some spurts there where we did well. And hey, end the regular season beating Miami, and who knows, you might go into this tournament and it'd be kind of nice if we went on a 4 or 5 game win streak.
Right? Why not?
We're just going to run on over to track and field. This sounds like a broken record, but as we talked about earlier, but track and field saw many herd athletes set or tie their personal best. Surprise, surprise.
Shocker.
And many move into the top 5 at Marshall at the Virginia Challenge. Marshall had 8 top 10 finishes at the meet. So a lot of personal bests, performing at a high level.
Yeah, I keep seeing the herd track and field Twitter account. They put that out a lot, they tend to talk about the ones, those athletes that, finish second or finish third or whatever. But they always add on to that, also ranking now number 2 in Marshall history, that kind of thing, which I appreciate. That helps me gain a larger appreciation for that moment, because let's be honest. If you finish in 8th, okay, cool, right? Like, I'm not dogging anybody, but that's not winning. That's not podium, right? First, second, third, whatever. But if that 8th place finish at that particular meet turns into be the 2nd or 3rd all-time best time in program history, like ever, that adds a lot more context to that performance, because now I see like, oh, okay, that wasn't just an 8th place finish. This is a climbing the leaderboard all-time at Marshall finish, which makes it a little bit more important. So I'm glad they do that. But this has been the running theme with herd track and field all season long, men's and women's side, especially in the jumps and throws. They have just really been crushing it in those various disciplines this year on the men's and women's side. It's so cool, man. It's very, very cool. I say that, I know, and you're talking about it being a broken record because I say that every week. It's just so cool, but it is. It's just really cool, man. because I just don't know how to articulate it any better. It's like, I feel like, not that I could perform like that, but I can't throw a football 70 yards or 60 yards. You know what I mean? But I can go outside and like jump, So it's like, it feels like a sport that like, I don't know how to say this properly. It's not, like I said, I can't go out there and do like they do. But I feel like, hey man, if I felt like learning to triple jump back in the day, I probably could have done that, Whereas I'm not built physically to play linebacker, right? But I'd be like, hey man, if I had good coaches or something like that and I was interested in pole vault, then maybe I could have done that, because what's the build of a pole vaulter? What's the build of a hurdler? You know what I mean? But if you ain't 6'2" and 225, you better not put some pads on and try to play on the second level to defense. Brother, I ain't that.
So, Trayshawn, if you're listening to this episode, Katie is ready to start his training on the triple jump.
Yeah. So, these 46-year-old knees ain't got a thing for that triple jump now, bro.
He's ready. So just let him know whenever you can, just let him know when you got some time to train.
Respectfully pass. That would have needed to happen about 30 years ago.
Right. Yeah. I've been, well, let's just say that I'm participating in some adult rec league sports, or a sport currently, and let me tell you that it is way different doing that now than it was many years ago. When the knees and the legs and the body was a little
it was
more
shits and gigs for a while, but now it's like, dang, I gotta recover. I might need to buy myself a hot tub. What the hell's going on right here? I need recovery, dude. I need recovery.
The amount of things in my Amazon cart after a game is it's bad, man. But
man, we got way off topic.
we did, but that's all right. That's what makes it fun. But yeah, so super cool. That these one of the things I did want to say, kind of bringing it back, was I think it also goes to show that as we're breaking these personal bests and getting to 8th place, just shows you how high the bar is for the guys that really are, like, for the guys that are winning these things with the times, guys and gals that are winning like 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
Sure.
But it also means that we're raising our bar to be more competitive in those events. And
I should also mention that, along with the track and field mentioning how well they're ranking, like, as a program, they also do a good job of saying that would have been good for 2nd in the Sun Belt this year. So they're also keeping it on a conference perspective. So when we get into tournament time, you will have a better idea of how we stack up against our peers when it's time to go for individual SBC championships or a team championship. So they're trying to do all they can to inform, the fan base about how their trajectory is actually going. Because it's one thing to hear us talk about it and speak glowingly and all that stuff, but if you can put the data to it with your own eyes, then you can start to really understand, like, hey man, we could steal a championship or two, an individual championship or two, if we get the right race under the right conditions at the right time. Like, our best on the team's best time might be good enough for 3rd in the Sun Belt, but is that 200ths off the lead, or is that seconds off the lead? But if you get the right conditions at the right time, you could steal a championship, if you're just ready to roll and some things go your way. So I appreciate the little added context pieces that go in to help keeping the fan base informed, because we couldn't do that. There's no way that we could keep track of all of that stuff. That in and of itself is a data just abyss of times and teams and everything. I props to whoever has to keep that straight, because you need
because we wouldn't be able to do it. So we appreciate you, those who do, and we just get the privilege of reporting on it. That's and reading off our screens the stats.
Yes,
very helpful. They will be down at the Charlotte Invitational Friday and Saturday. So once that event is over, come next week, we will bring you the results of that. So we're going to go ahead and swing over to men's golf. We are here. We have arrived. The SBC Men's Conference Championship starts on Monday.
Dang, already. Okay.
Yeah,
Good luck.
Here.
Good luck.
That's all. Any additional thoughts on that as we?
No, tournament time.
All right.
I mean, what's left to talk about? It's put up or shut up. Tournament time.
That's true. Yeah, put up or. Well, I'm not going to say that, but
I mean,
all right, women's golf. SBC Women's Conference Championship is ongoing as we record, and we'll finish up Thursday with match play. So that'll be tomorrow. It's tomorrow as we record, but as you hear this episode, that'll be today. Yes. However, the team stroke play rounds are over, and Marshall finished last out of 13 teams, unfortunately.
Crushing it.
But a little bit of a bright spot in there is Madison Hudson had a tremendous final 2 rounds for the herd, shooting +1 and then even par, which was amongst the best rounds of any golfer total in the tournament. So a little bright spot there. Excited that she was able to play and perform very well in the last 2 rounds there.
Sure. I mean, I can't praise 13th out of 14th, man. I can't,
No.
Maybe we should just talk about what's next.
Yep. Moving on to women's soccer. They will be traveling to Kentucky on Saturday at 6 p.m. for another spring exhibition game. So it's a perfect time for those of you who are in the Lexington area, or for those of you in the Huntington area, you want to make the quick, skip, hop, and a jump over to Lexington. To take in a women's Marshall game against the Wildcats. Yeah,
man. I mean, go check out the next program to potentially turn that corner, the Thundering Rothas, man. I'm gonna keep pounding that drum until it's just proven to be completely wrong, because I just don't think it's gonna be. I really don't.
Yeah.
So I trust that formula. We've seen it on the other side of that program and in the men's program. It's the same coaching tree. It's the same formula,
Yeah.
And it's the same draw. You're still playing at this fabulous venue at the Vet. That like Huntington and Marshall is slowly but surely becoming more and more and more of a soccer school. The matches are better and better and better attended. What else could you ask for? What more could you ask for? A competitive program at a school that cares and a fan base that will support you. What more could you ask for?
What more could you ask for? And that's what's really cool about the spring. Well, not the spring league. That's on the men's side, but with the spring play that they've been doing is like with taking on Kentucky. I mean, this is a big time school. I mean, we're not just playing some of these smaller schools. I mean, we're taking it with the top level competition in the spring, to make ourselves better. So come fall, we're competitive, we're ready to jump in, and we're not spending the first part of our season trying to figure out where these pieces, how the pieces fit together and game strategy and who, how we're going to attack these different teams. We're going to have already some of this already in place because we're playing in the spring just like the guys. So like you said, it worked with the guys. It got us a national championship out of it, got us 2 national championship appearances out of it. I think, that's not a terrible formula to follow.
No, it's a pretty damn good one. It's a pretty damn good one. Multiple conference championships, national tournament contenders perpetually every year.
Yeah.
I mean, all you're hoping for is an opportunity. You go out there and play the regular season and the tournament to get that opportunity to hoist the College Cup. Some teams want to be able to do that twice. They long to be able to do that once. And we've gotten to the final twice, right? So it's not just, man, we're hoping to get there. No, we're hoping to win the whole damn thing. So I think the women's team can start to mirror that if obviously they find more consistency, start becoming a little bit more of a destination school. Of course, all of that relies around winning. You got to win. If you don't win, we're just going to spin your wheels and hope. But I think they can win. I think they can start to win more. And that to me is what it's all about.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we're going to swing on over to baseball. This one's a little bit personal for the coach. So we went into Ohio State's house and rubbed our muddy cleats on their couch for Greg Beals as they won 11-7 last Wednesday. Those are Russ's notes, by the way. So I'll have to admit that I didn't come up with that, but I thought that was very I thought that was very clever.
Well,
funny.
if you are like me, you said that, and immediately what I was thinking of was the Chappelle Show Rick James skit, him just stomping the couch. That's what I was thinking of, rubbing our muddy cleats on their couch. That's what I was thinking of, and that's why I lost it. That was awesome.
That's great. That's great.
That was good.
So that way, just anytime you can beat the Buckeyes in anything, it's a good time. So listen, so spring league beat them in soccer. Yep. So now, in baseball, midweek game, beat them.
Yeah.
Come
play at the Joan. Come on. What are you waiting on?
Let's go. Yeah, at this point, come on down. I mean, it's not a long drive. Come on. So got to win that game. Really cool that they went up there and performed. Anytime you can beat Ohio State at anything, it always feels good to rub it in their face. And a really cool victory, especially with Greg Beals having coached there before. And then they opened the series at South Alabama strong with a 6-2 victory on Friday. Mm-hmm. Then unfortunately lost the final two games 7-3 and then 4-1.
Yep.
So something to note, though, that last game was tied up at 1-1 before South Alabama hit 4 consecutive 2-out singles to take the lead and get the win. So we were right there to the very end on that one. So just missed out on the.
I expected, baseball has gone through a big, I don't know if it's a slump, but you'll beat Ohio State and then you will lose to, I don't know if you got it on the notes. Do you have it on the notes, the game today? Like it finished. The game against Moorhead.
I'm pulling it up here.
No, we lost. I'll put it that way. We lost.
Okay.
But that's what I mean. Like you go into Columbus and you beat Ohio State, and then you go on the road and lose a series to South Al, and then you go to Moorhead and lose to Moorhead. Like, what is going on?
Yeah. Huh? Yeah, 2-11.
Yeah, 11-2. It was not a close one.
Yeah, it's not a close law. Yeah.
So I don't know what's going on with baseball. I will say now, I had higher hopes. I think those guys definitely had higher hopes for their season. It's not lost. You still got tournament time. You could find some magic and do some damage, and it is what it is. But I was expecting this team to be a consistent, like, top 4 team, top 5 team in the conference this year, based off what I saw last year, the pitching staff that had been assembled this year, some players that returned, some guys, the youngsters that had stepped up early in the season and played bigger roles. But for whatever reason, they can't get enough hits when they need them. They can't get that last out when they need to. And it's bitten them too many times this year. And that's just really unfortunate because, it's like games like you're talking about, they're right there. And it slips away. And we've seen so many of those games slip away this year. Far more of them have slipped away than we have, clutched victory instead of allowing the defeat to occur. But whatever it is, I hate it for them. I do.
Yeah. Same here. I think now would be a really good time to maybe go on a win streak, right?
Why don't we just go on like a 5 or 6 or 7 game win streak and win the whole damn thing?
Right.
If I say that enough, it'll come true eventually.
Eventually, you'll be right. Yeah, just don't take that bet every single time, okay, guys? Like to all of you listening, don't put your money on that every single time, but you will get it eventually. But anyway, hey, the boys get to come home this weekend, playing Troy at the Jack. So great opportunity. I think we're going to have some good weather this weekend. Come out Friday, 6:00, Saturday at 4, and then Sunday at 1 p.m.
Yeah, so that would be a good opportunity to settle some haters. I mean, you can call me one right now if you want to. I'm not trying to be a hater, but that would pipe me down. You go in and take the series or sweep the series from Troy. Troy's pretty decent, So again, it all goes back to like, you got to be honest, and it's not going very great right now. It's going okay, it's so, but it's not great. And this will be a good opportunity to make it a little better. Close out strong, a little momentum going into tournament time, that kind of thing.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there's still quite a few games left. Opportunity here to turn things around before heading into the tournament. So, We still got some time left, so I'm excited. So come out, especially since the weather's going to be nice. I think on at least a couple of those days. So come on out, support the herd. Always fun to take in a game at the Jack on a weekend.
Is. So. Regardless if they're winning or losing, it is a fun time at the Jack. It is.
Yeah.
It is very cool, nice and chill. You know, I dig it. I dig it. I was glad I got to go to 2 games while I was in. It was cool, man. It was cool, dude. The Sunday game I went to, you know, it was an early game, and then I had to fly out later that evening, and I didn't even sit down the whole game. I stood there at one of those, you know, little whatever the hell you call them, like I'm for standing there drinking.
Tables,
yeah. But I was just leaned up against that, just having a good old time. I struck up a conversation with the dude next to me, and I didn't know him. You know, we just started chatting, and he was like, do you do a podcast? I was like, yeah. He goes, man, I thought that was that voice, which is always weird to me, but I pretty cool. But we sat there and chatted the whole game. I had a great time. Yeah. Met a new buddy. You know what I mean? And we just watched baseball and talking about what was going on. It's a fun time to go to the Jack and just chill. That is a great thing to do if you've got I mean, even if that's what you're going to do it. But if you're like sitting around the house, bored, don't have anything to do, dude, go buy a ticket and go sit at the Jack outside, get some fresh air, put the screens down for a little bit, just watch some baseball, eat a hot dog or something. It's fun. It is a fun time. It is
a fun time.
It will heal you a little bit, man. It really will. There's just something about the atmosphere at any baseball game. Being able to get a cold pop or a cold beer and popcorn and the sounds and sights of a baseball game, it's freaking therapeutic. It really is. It'll do you some good.
Because you got excitement in there. There are times where things ramp up and get exciting, and then but it's also relaxing. You know, it's not on the edge of your seat type of sport like basketball is, where it's just real fast pace and you're jumping, bouncing from one end to the other. It's more of a laid back scenario, but you get excitement out of it. So
yeah,
I tell you, I really enjoy going to those games.
Me too. I wish I could go more. I think I've only been to the Jack maybe 5 or 6 times, maybe, but it is 1,000 miles away from me. So
it's a little difficult.
If you're in Huntington, what's your excuse?
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. Well, Katie, we're going to wrap up the Round the Herd segment here with softball.
Yeah.
Great way to wrap this up. Won the series against South Alabama with wins on Friday and Saturday. So the scores on Friday 5-2, Saturday 4-2, before dropping the final game at the Dot, their first loss, conference loss at the Dot, 4-2 on Sunday. But pick up the series against a really good South Alabama team. Thoughts on that game before we talk about what's coming up?
Well, I'm gonna take the blame for the loss on Sunday because I got a little ahead of myself and I had tweeted out some things that might occur in that game. It's like breaking the home run record might occur and something else might occur. And also trying to stay undefeated at the Dot. And that's on me. That one's on me. So I would have loved to seen them be able to sweep that and really be looking for like this opportunity against JMU to go undefeated at home. It's not going to happen, but hey, I don't know any coach in the world that wouldn't take, let's say, a 17-1 record at home. I think anybody would do that. So it would have been cool if they would have been able to go sweep that series and stuff. But it is what it is. They're still playing ridiculously well, and all the things we've said week after week after week. I want to see some records go down. I would love to see Burko and Blake set new all-time home run marks, or at least tie them. I think that would be sick to have 2 players on the same team in the same season set that type or tie that record, or maybe even break it. I don't care where it happens. On the road, I mean, they're going to have to go nuts to get that to happen in the next 3 games. But it'd really be cool for that to happen in front of a home crowd at the Dot. That'd be awesome.
Absolutely. They to bring everybody up to speed, if the last game they played, they traveled to Eastern Kentucky yesterday, as we record Wednesday, and won that 6-1. So that brings their total record. I think we've talked about this already, but their total record now is 35-12.
Mm-hmm.
And they have maintained that top spot in the Sun Belt with the 15-3 record, which great record.
Yeah. I mean, damn near 75% winning percentage overall, 83% winning percentage in the conference this year. Come on. What are we talking about here? What are we talking about? This is the great season for Zerk and the crew. So many individual stories that you can talk about, and we will, but you can't point anywhere and go, that's a weakness. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't do it. So many pitchers having great years, individual position players having great years, records on the cusp of falling, more records on the cusp of falling. Come on. The only thing left to do is hoist an SBC trophy. Yes. That's what's left to do. This program has not been able to do that. They won a conference title, Conference USA title way back when. It's been maybe a decade, getting close to a decade.
Been a while.
So they got to get them an SBC title. That's the next thing that has to happen. And this is the year to do it. They are really rolling.
Yeah, absolutely. They will be traveling to Louisiana to take on the Raging Cajuns Friday at 7 p.m., Saturday at 3 p.m., and then Sunday at 1 p.m. Something to note that Louisiana is the site of the Sun Belt tournament, which will be in 2 weeks, Katie.
Yep, I know. I would love to know I want to know, like, how they always get to host the damn thing.
Yeah. Yeah, how do we...
Why do you just decide? I mean, I get it. They were dominant for a long time and all that. I get that. I get it. But why is it just always going to be in Louisiana? I mean, maybe it's not. Maybe we haven't been in the conference that long. Maybe it's like 5-year deal or something like that. I don't know. I really don't know. I'm not interested enough to go back and look at the tournament history and where it's played and all that kind of stuff. But it's been there ever since we've been in the conference, I think, especially in 23 when we had a chance to win the damn thing and we had to go play the home team at their home stadium in front of freaking 3,000 people, so it's pretty tough. So I'd like to see that bad boy come to the dot. How about that?
Right. Well, that would be my question. In what other sport in the Sun Belt does that happen? I mean, in football, it's your, basically the winningest record, the highest you ever in football obviously gets to host. That makes sense. But outside of that, like basketball's played at a neutral site.
Well, yeah, as are most things like that. Most,
Yeah.
I guess maybe like soccer is based on seeding. It's not,
which makes
it's not
sense
always in Huntington or always going to be in Morgantown or, Lexington or anything like that. So I don't know. I'm just curious. I'm not talking smack. I'm not griping. I'm just curious if that's a thing where it's always there or has been. Has it been there for 25 years? Like, I don't know, but so it seems it just seems like an unfair advantage for one team. And shouldn't be the way it is. It should be a equal playing field for everybody instead of the home team being able to be in their own facilities, sleep in their own beds and do their own normal routine and all that kind of stuff. That's all.
Yeah. I'm griping. I'll gripe about it. It's 100% unfair.
Yeah, but I'm not. I mean, if they're paying for it, you know what I'm saying? Like if they signed a big long deal and that's why, then okay, I get it.
Make sense.
But I think it would.
But you're right.
I think
it does offer an advantage, even if you're, and I don't know what the record about. Even if their team sucked this year, they still get home field advantage for the tournament. Type thing, and that's kind of. Yeah.
I do understand. I do understand not being able to do it like football, for example, because you don't know who's going to come out of it, and you're talking about two teams playing in a conference championship game in football, whereas you're talking about a lot of conference teams playing in the SBC tournament.
Right.
So you can't just be like, oh, Marshall won the regular season. Next week, the tournament will be in Huntington. Can't do that because you got to have freaking hotel rooms and everything for hundreds of people, right? Mm-hmm. So but logistically, you just can't do it on a last minute thing. Like, oh man, it came down to the wire and Marshall edged out such and such and they won the regular season title and the right to host the tournament. Get that. I get that. But it'd be cool to maybe see it float around though,
Right. That would be cool. It must be maybe it's a facility thing because it'd be hard to do. I mean, is there softball fields that would be up to par for like a neutral site? You know what I mean? So it would have to be that way.
Now, Louisiana does have a really nice stadium, and it seats a lot of people. So their infrastructure is there, and that's another thing. Like the DOT doesn't have enough. I wouldn't think has enough actual seating, because people tend to hang out in the outfields and do the tailgate thing, and that's kind of our vibe for the DOT. And I wish that they would expand seating a little bit, but I don't think you're going to be able to do that without starting to charge admission to games. And that's one of the cool things that people like about softball is that it's free to go to those games. I, for one, think they're a high-performing team. You should pay for a ticket, even if it's just $1. Think of how much more money would benefit the program. If you're charging just $1 a ticket across the season, how many people are going to bat an eye at $1? They're going to stop going to softball because they got to pay $1 for a game?
Right.
No, they're not. Yeah. They're not going to at all. So I think that would be really cool. That's probably another big hang up. There's not enough seating, and Louisiana has a super nice stadium. Right. Yeah. Plenty of hotels around, I'm sure, and plenty of restaurants. So their infrastructure is there. We've got some work to do at the DOT. It fits our vibe. I mean, it fits the vibe we like to put out.
Yeah.
If they really want to grow it, then you're going to have to add some nice seating, maybe some premium options for some of those more financially comfortable fans, just stuff like that. And maybe start thinking about charging, a couple bucks a ticket and, put that revenue right into the softball program.
Yeah, absolutely. Makes sense.
Yeah.
I'm going to recommend you to whatever board or committee form to do
Hey,
this.
I speak my ideas into the universe, and if somebody pulls them out of thin air because they listen to the show, then cool, but I'll take a spot on any brainstorming think tank for the herd. I like that.
Yeah, actually, that's I think a good idea. Think tank.
I think I've got my finger on the pulse. I know I've got my finger on the pulse of the average fan because that's who I am.
Yeah. Oh, well, good deal. Well, KD, that wraps up Around the Herd, brought to us by Layer 1 Solutions.
Awesome, man. This was cool. This got a little casual conversation into it. You made me laugh a couple of times. We got off on a couple of tangents. This was pretty good, man.
It's a lot of fun, man. Glad we're doing this. Yeah,
got some great results from the herd, which is always good. But hey, nice little way on hump day here to break in get broken in on the work week and look forward to the downhill slide for the weekend because, dude, I already need it. I'm already begging for Saturday and
already here. Yeah,
but anyway,
I am too.
I appreciate it, man. I appreciate the conversation. If you got anything, let me have it. Otherwise, hey, do your thing and take us out of here.
All right. Now, whether you see us at the Joan, whether you see us at the DOT, or whether you see us this weekend at the Jack, cheering on our Herd baseball team against Troy, wherever you see us, we're going to be saying, go Herd.
Go Herd. It's the ThunderCast. We'll see you guys next week. Later.